Let me know if you can't hear me at any given time, but I'm grateful to be here. And I just want to, first of all, start out by saying I totally agree with the comments from all three of you, Joel, Pakriza, and Glory. I have been involved in how the progression of the regulations and learning about them for many, for a long time, and very, very happy that they've come out. And I will get to what that means, but if you don't mind, maybe start the presentation, the slides. Okay, and as they start that, starting Clearwind was really the purpose of that was watching the industry change and grow and really come online just as recently as 2021. Prior to 2021, we had a hard time selling credits. Everyone did. And then in 2021, the market shifted. And I think what we're seeing now is the interest in the international markets for these credits. And so because of that, my partner, Todd Lemons, and I had moved back to the United States. He was focused on Latin America. You can go to the next slide. And I decided that I certainly didn't want to squander all the experience in Indonesia and Asia in general. I've been working in Indonesia since 2008. Next slide, please. And so I reached out to an old colleague. Next slide, please. And that's my partner's company in Mexico, Marvivo, and then on the left is Clearwind. Next slide, please. So what is Clearwind? And the reason this is important, I'm not here to pitch my company, but it's important because this company was started due to the market conditions that exist right now, that did not exist 2 years ago. And frankly, I've changed the business model quite a bit. So what is that business model? Well, what I found was I was attempting to just do one project, maybe, or two. And what I found was there was a lot of investors and a lot of investment looking to do projects, but not enough developers that had experience. And as we all know, when you're learning something, that experience comes at a high cost of making mistakes. And so with Rimbaraya, having started that in 2008 and going through the process and learning so many lessons, and then learning how to market and sell a project, I didn't really know how we were going to do Clearwind, but it became clear that it had to be a company that could scale, that could do multiple projects at the same time, in order to use the knowledge that we've gained, through those years. So what we decided to do is to build in-country teams, implementation teams that are experienced people. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. So this was an article in Carbon Pulse. I joined with Gabriel Eickhoff, who's also a long-term veteran of Indonesia, and I met him here. He's been working in Indonesia since 2006, started one of the earlier projects, didn't actually finish, and then he worked on Rimbaraya briefly. And we remained friends and colleagues. And when I had this idea, I called him up. Next slide, please. And there's the core executive team. You can look at this on our website. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So Clearwind is really setting itself up to do project origination, go through the process development, of course, verification, but really focusing on building a deep operational capacity in each country that we work in. And then obviously sales. And we have experience in all of those things. And we've been fortunate to be approached by a lot of investors. So we have access to being able to fund these projects. One of the things that we focused on is working with governments. So for example, in Indonesia, we absolutely will, obviously you have to now, but we were always intending to work very, very closely with SRN And I've been fortunate to meet some of the members and learn about it, and very, very excited of actually developing a project through SRN. Wholeheartedly support it. I think that is the future in every country. I mean, Indonesia is leading. There's no country that I'm aware of that is as far advanced as Indonesia. Especially, I will say, I have some interactions with the technical teams and the auditing teams in Indonesia, and I have to tell you, they are top notch and the highest quality. I feel they're very, very credible. Next slide, please. So next slide. So in Indonesia, we've partnered with, well, there you see Glory and his team, Chacha and Wisnu and Tony. They have a company called Carbonasia, and we've been, I've known all of these people individually for many, many years, and they have many years experience working in a RED project, in a nature-based project on the ground, which is very rare. Next slide, please. And in the Philippines, we're doing a large project, and this is our team in the Philippines. Next project. I mean, next, there you go. So this is, right now, we have not started a project yet in Malaysia or Thailand, but we do have an origination person there. And the reason I'm sharing this is just to show you that this market is going to grow, and the biggest bottleneck is capacity, is experience in doing these projects. To be fair, 2 or 3 years ago, it wouldn't have made a lot of sense to spend your time and your money doing a project, not being able to sell the credits. And so that is so recent. It's such a recent change. So lastly, you can go to the next slide and just leave it there. Talking to investors about doing projects, one thing I've also found is there was a big hesitation until the regulations were released. Since they've been released, I see a lot of optimism. I see people, investors, very, very confident that once the implementation regulations come out and once everything has been sorted, that this is extremely good for confidence in knowing what's going to happen in Indonesia. And I just think they've handled it quite well. But thank you very much for having me, and I hope I was able to provide some information.